We got some great surf and much more when we return to tell some swell tales.
I can still recall a time when your back streets and alleys were all mine. I walked down hallways far from grace. Now it looks so far away. My life, a three-act comedy. First ambition, ecstasy, then at last fear, vanity. It's true, many fools had gone before, where they paused at the threshold without hesitation. I stepped through and demanded more. Imagine an actor in this final role, who stands between heaven's angels and Babylon, and they tell us down here we can save ourselves. That isn't very good news, 'cause if I could have, I would have saved myself, and I wouldn't need you like I do. I wouldn't need you like I do. I wouldn't need you like I do. Huh. Once the ruler of a den of thieves, longed to be prince of his destiny. Give me my due and I'll leave, I say. But one drop of blood fell down from above, streaked the sky and covered my head. Imagine a beggar with a fist full of gold, who stands between heaven's angels and Babylon, and they tell us down here we can save ourselves. But that isn't very good news, 'cause if I could have, I would have saved myself, and I wouldn't need you like I do. I wouldn't need you like I do. And I knew this farce was coming to a close. I watched you dance on my grave as the credits roll. This man stares unblinking at the center of the crossroads and barely withstands that devil's curse. And they tell us down here we can save ourselves, but that isn't very good news, 'cause if we could have, we would have saved ourselves, and we wouldn't need you like we do. I wouldn't need you like I 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 do. Hey! I wouldn't need you like I do. 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 left here today. Folks on the street say they saw him carried away. Some say they caught him lying, some say they let him arrest her. But not one of them was crying out, not a tear touched his head. I heard him say, run him out of town, don't leave a single trace behind. They always think they'll live forever, and all their promises they break on a dime. Go on now, drive him to the desert, tie his hands behind his head, and blow a kiss with your revolver now. You're better off with him dead. He left you today, you bury your hero. All the young heroes, our very young heroes, they seem to drop off like flies. You can see it on the evening news. Save the tears from your eyes and watch familiar sad faces as they disappear from view. For every hero that's dead and gone, they'll find another for you. Lord, it's true, I heard him say, keep 'em on the road, don't leave a single one behind, and hide away our precious children, 'cause they're the ones who believe them every time. Go on now, chase them to the river, bend their knees and bow their heads, and what you do then, do quickly now, but make sure you turn that river red. They left it today, our very young heroes, all the young heroes. Oh, my little hero, where did you go last night? Oh, my sweet young hero, no one else's but mine. Oh, and for someone who can see through me, well, you can be so blind. And now you heroes who try to leave, you'll never get out alive. You'll never get out alive, baby. You'll never get out here alive, baby. Back it up, no. Somebody said drive him to the ground, don't leave a trace of him behind. They always think they'll live forever, but all their promises they break every time. I find him waiting in the garden with his hands held high above. I heard him whisper as I kissed him.
Welcome back to Swell Tales. In our segment Legends and Personalities, we had the opportunity to meet with Mike Doyle.
Well, when I grew up what they call inland, and it was probably about 15 miles from the ocean, but it seemed like a long ways then. I think I got to the beach when I was about 13 for the first time. So I walked out on Manhattan Beach Pier and I saw guys surfing, and I couldn't believe it. One guy turned around, actually went backwards standing on the board. I just couldn't believe it. It's the first time I've ever seen surfing. I'd never seen a movie of it. There was hardly much television, and just to see guys riding a wave was just dazzling to me, especially, the angle of the pier looking down and watching, you can see the trail and the track of water. And I knew that was for me, right? The first time I saw it.
That was from Rosa Beach Pier.
But the best I could do then was I ran down on the beach and I watched them. When they lose their boards, I'd run up and grab their boards. Of course, these boards weighed about 9,500 pounds, so they just roll over me, smack into me. I had bruises on both legs, just so I could jump on and paddle about 10 feet out And the guy would yank the board and say, hey, thanks, kid. And I'd go, I touched one. I actually touched a surfboard. I mean, I was that thrilled by it. Went to the beach, when I got down there most of the beach, I got tortured by the real in gang, you know, because I was an outsider from, you know, they didn't know where. They'd never been east of I-5, you know.
Did you ever get in with them?
Well, years later when I was at Malibu, I started getting a real lucky deal. My stepfather had a job in the Navy and he drove to Point Mugu along the coast every day. So I got off at Malibu every day on his way up to Point Mugu, which is up by Ventura, and he'd drive me, pick me up at 6 o'clock at night. So I turned into a kind of like Malibu Mike every day at Malibu, all summer long and on the weekends in the winter. So some of these guys on a big swell, Malibu used to be the place to go. So now here come 5 or 6 years later, these guys that tortured me, Dewey Weber and Henry Ford, these guys, they're going, aren't you, they call me Tiki Mike then, because I used to make these dumb little tikis that they were in high school. I thought they were really cool, you know. Because I was reading everything I could in school, in the library, about Hawaiians and surfing and everything about it. Well, they all had tikis in their folklore and stuff. So I was making them in wood shop. But when I wore them to the beach, the surfers thought they were kind of geeky. They were all wearing St. Christopher medals, you know, enamelized St. Christopher medals. That was cool. Tikis were lame. But
You wear it around your neck?
I wore it on a leather thong, and I thought I was a real surfer, you know, and they were calling, hey, Tiki Mike. And so years later, they came to Malibu, and I said, are you the same Tiki Mike that we used to know down in Hermosa? I go, yeah. And they go, hey, your surfing's getting pretty good. So I was accepted then as having talent and that I had developed in the ranks of surfing. Thing of localism, where there's like at Ventura, where there's actually gangs, and if you're an outsider, they come and slash your tires and stuff like that. This is our beach. I can't stand that. I've seen it happen in Mexico too, at K38. Down in Baja, it's starting to happen around where I live, where the Mexicans say, this is our water, you guys are gringos. Or you go to Hawaii, you know, you're a haole. I just don't like racism in any form. I think the ocean's the ocean. The ocean should be enjoyed by everybody and respected by everyone. When I went, like I said, I didn't even see a movie until about my junior year in high school. Bud Brown came out with The Big Surf. And so then I saw all kinds of people I wanted to emulate. But in my growing up period, the first person I saw was the first day I ever saw anybody surf. It was a guy that turned around backwards, and that was Bob Hogan. And he was a local lifeguard in Hermosa Beach, went to Hawaii every year. And actually Greg Knoll, because he was a skinny kid there, and he could ride forward, backwards, and stand on his head. The same Greg Knoll we know now, it's this big around. He was a skinny little kid, and he could do anything on the board too. And I remember looking in their car, and both of them had trophies. They had won trophies in a surf contest or a paddling race, and I went, wow. I mean, I remember I'm just a 12-year-old Grimmy just looking in a car, never even been on a board before, and I'm seeing these guys riding these waves and having trophies in their car, and they had cool 41 Ford coupes all buffed out, and a lifeguard, and I'm going, this is a life for me. I want to be a lifeguard and go to Hawaii and surf the big surf.
Yes, you did go to Hawaii.
Then when I went to Malibu, of course, the guy to copy and emulate was Mickey Dora. Dora had such charisma. Mickey Dora had facial expressions. He always had a classic car, a Cadillac or something. He always did artwork on a surfboard that said Kazam, Gaboom, or Superman. He was way ahead of his time. And every kid on the beach, we all emulated everything Mickey did. The way he walked, the way he talked, the way he moved, the way he tilted his sunglasses, and the way he surfed, because he was quite a good surfer.
Did you hang around with him?
And he was real quick and agile. They call him a cat, because he could just run around that board real agile. And that was his spot. Malibu, he wasn't very good going left. He was okay. He never did real well in Hawaii, but he could really ride Malibu. My philosophy started pretty simple from my mother, and I think it still holds true. She never pushed me about what to do anything. He never tried to lead me into being a doctor or a dentist or anything, but her main thing was to be a good person and take care of yourself, take care of your health, and do unto others as you do to yourself. It's pretty basic stuff, but it's really big stuff. You know, sometimes the little stuff's big stuff. And try not to cheat and lie and all. That's the kind of thing that just start bringing you down, you know. It's basically tuning into yourself, who you are as a person, what you can possibly do out there in this world, how to help some other people besides just yourself. It's easy to be greedy. It takes a little more talent and skill to not be so greedy and actually help somebody else that may not be as gifted as you. Actually, I kind of like the direction it's going now. It went for that shortboard era. I was very disappointed with all you saw were kids surfing, and you started losing all the adults and people that were really good at one time on longboards, all kind of dropping away because all they were making was short boards. And now with this, the return of the longboard, people are starting to have fun again. And the direction of surfing is fun. It should be fun. And I'll answer who said that. People always say, who's the best surfer in the world? I go, the one having the most fun. And I go, wow. I thought you were going to say, one of these, Kelly Slater. I go, no, if he's having fun, he's the best surfer in the world. But anybody you should be out there to have a good time. And that any way you want to do it. Some people just stand there on a big board and cruise along, and that's great. Other people have to cut real hard and turn and slash and rip off the top. That's their way to have fun. That's fine too. Well, I see myself, I still see myself pretty much doing what I'm doing now, painting and surfing. Live to surf, surf to live.
We hope you enjoyed our show. I'm Adrian Zaragoza. Come back with us again when we tell some swell tales.
Everybody's got a vested interest. They got reasons to believe in like shopping lists. Well, I guess I'm no different, you know.